Welcome to Bullets Nation, the podcast by Bullets fans for Bullets fans. I'm your host, Tracy Malone, a Bullets member since we came back into the league 10 years ago. In sporting teams, players change, coaches change, and staff move on. We don't Bullets fans, we're the constant. We've been here since the early days and we'll still be here when the next banner goes up. This is our space to talk about our team at length. No 30-second hot takes, we're here for real hoops chat. We love this club. We argue, we cheer, we ride every run, and we carry every loss. So settle in and suit up. If you're Bullets family, you're at home here. This is Bullets Nation. Let's tip it off today, as always, by welcoming my co-hosts, Cameron Pawluck and Scott Husband.
Hello
Everyone.
there.
Okay, YouTube. I'm really disappointed in everyone. No, I'm not really. We had no comments on YouTube this week. I was like, what is going on here, people? We've got nothing to say. There was a lot said in our chat group, though, so I'm thinking we were having it all in there. But we did have our Monday Madness question. Who is the most underrated Bullets player of the last decade? Give them their flowers. This was really interesting because I couldn't really think of one. Brian Durbett said Jeremy Kendall. Stephen Hill said Jeremy Kendall. He was a real fan favourite amongst so many of us. I wonder where he is now.
You're not too sure.
Yeah, because I know he was training with the team for a while and I know he was playing NBL 1 around the region, but I'm not sure what happened after that. Bobo Kevin Fett said Kitty or Kendall, and Ross Pillen said Taylor Braun. Saw him do an awesome job on Bryce Cotton at Nissan Arena defensively.
Yeah, I didn't mind that one. Taylor definitely was underrated in what he could do. I don't think he got as much opportunity as what he should have when he was out on that court.
Yeah. Yeah, and so our question for Friday Fan Debate, which current player would you build the team around if you had to choose today? It was pretty consistent. Terry, Liam, this is Liam Fletcher. Terry, textbook headlock, Taylor. He's got a new nickname. See, if you just leave it alone, they come out eventually. Donna Pillen had a hilarious one. You didn't specify that it had to be a current Bullets player, so I'm going with Vaughan Mabry. Donna is trying to get the refs on side. I like the way she thinks. Murray
Outside the
Martin,
box.
outside the box. Love it. We need those thinkers. I'd build around Holt and Prather for Murray Martin. Carleen Cunningham. In my opinion, there really is only one option for current players, and that is Holt, of course. Matthew Martin, Harrison and Holt, both young and are skilled. Just need some marksmen around them and a good playmaker to get them involved. Matthew Martin, you are singing my song. I am with you 100%. There's a lot of people who think that Harrison should move on soon, and I'm like, not until I see him with a great point guard, because you have to feed the beast to let the beast out.
And a good coach.
And a great coach who can make it all happen. We have seen best teams in the league have amazing pick and roll action, and we used to have it and we haven't really. And so I want that to come back in spades. Daniel Marr had a sneaky little cheeky one in here. Montrez, Holt and Prather. We probably should talk about that, shouldn't we? Now it's probably a good time to talk about it. Montrezl Harrell came out on his socials this week and said, Brisbane, if you need culture, I can bring culture. And he desperately wants to come back to the NBL. What do you guys think about that?
So it's interesting because, and I was going to get to this a little bit later around Harge and what he said. So he was actually asked during the member Q&A in the members bar at the Hawks game whether we were looking at signing Montrez. So someone actually asked him that. He was very cagey. He's, I can't actually speak about those things at the moment. It felt like maybe there were talks going on. He did say that both he and Montrez went to the same university. So University of Louisville. So there is a relationship, something there between the two. But yes, he couldn't talk about anything like that at the moment.
Oh, I'm interested to hear more about that. We'll get to that later. That sounds really cool. I would be very hesitant to sign him. I think he does bring a culture. I don't think it's a culture that we need. All right, back into this one. Bob and Kevin Fett said Holt and Prather. Lisa Jane Luck Holt, love the energy. Joy, Heidi, I can't say that surname, starts with an L, Luyten, Casey, Jacob, and Hunter. Nick, Natalie, Tyrell Harrison, Anthony Mullins. Of all the current players, I'd pick Holt. And I think anyone who's not building around Holt is interesting choice. How could you not? But there were some really great ones in there. And I'll be really interested to see if Will Weaver is the new head coach and who it is that he is building around.
Yeah, I've got Holt as well. I just think another season under his belt in this league, and he's going to figure out his spots and positions a bit better. He'll have a better understanding of how this league and game is played, and he'll be the guy that you want to be building around.
Yeah, I still would put Tyrell in there. I would put Holt and Tyrell. I think the two of them can just become a powerhouse because we don't just need one star big. We need two star bigs.
Yeah, especially if you move Holt to that 4 position.
Yeah. Holt 4 and back up 5. Like 2 big weapons on the floor is better than 1.
Yeah, just on that pairing of Harrison and Holt, Tracy, I liken it a little bit to Magnay and Bannon in Tassie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, to Trez, don't call us, we'll call you. But no thanks.
Yeah.
Like I was saying about the Tassie 4-5 that they have, yeah, I think Holt, we should find a way to use him in minutes at the 4 as well as the 5.
Yeah. And when Tyrell's back, hopefully that's what we'll see. I hope it's just not the 2 of them at the 5. That would be really disappointing to see that. And Casey at the 4, I think that would be a real missed opportunity if those 3 are in the team.
I think Casey should spend most of as much time as possible at the 3, not the 4.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep. Doesn't mean he can't ISO out down there sometimes.
Oh, sure.
It's all available to them. All right, so we had 2 games this week. So oftentimes after a game happens, I'll do the notes straight after the game. And as things happen, I'll put the notes in. So it's not like I sit there on a Saturday and do the notes for the week, knowing what I know on a Saturday from what's happened the whole week. So we're going to go as the week happened. Monday, January 6th, we played Illawarra at home. The crowd was 4,075 people. I expected it to be a little bit less than that, so I thought it was a decent night out for the night before going back to school and all the things. The final score was 113 to 75. It was a home game, so I think there are a few predictions put in, but I think we're done with predictions. It doesn't feel like fun anymore. Like predicting lost scores is no more fun. Quarter by quarter.
Until next season.
Yeah, that's it. They doubled us in the first quarter. We scored 11, they scored 22. Second quarter, 20 to 33. Third quarter, they won as well, 21 to 41. So there's 2 quarters, they almost doubled us. And the fourth quarter, we won 23 to 17. There's a lot of people out there that said there was nothing to like about the game, and I completely disagree. I saw some great offensive sets. The game starts and I'm clapping, going, wow, that was a great move. And the ball just didn't go in. It wasn't a bad shot choice. There was nothing wrong with anything. The ball just didn't go in. And our shooting percentage is the thing that is biting us every single time. And this is why we're the NBL 1 team, not the NBL team, because that's where those stats can really change. We shot 42% from the field and 25% from the 3. And Illawarra shot 55.7% from the field and 33.3% from the 3. Too many threes.
Yeah, so I agree. They were getting a lot of really good looks early on, but they just weren't capitalizing or dropping them. So that, to me, is what hurt us right at the start of the game.
Absolutely. The ball movement was there. The player movement was there. Nothing was stagnant. Thank the gods we've gone away from 4-out dribble handoff basketball with a big man standing in there wondering what to do other than a dribble handoff. I'm loving what I'm seeing offensively. The ball's just not going through the hoop. So I was a little bit excited going, God damn it, wish that ball would drop. Defense for this game was not great though. Those back cuts were consistently uncovered. I was yelling, they're coming. And it was not covered. And it showed in the foul count. We had 1 foul in the first quarter and 3 in the second. So they were fouls against us, whistled in our direction, and we had 13 fouls against us. And I can't say that the refs were being biased or anything like that, even though they seemed to close their eyes on some calls on some ends. It just felt like the hands were in for Brisbane and the feet weren't moving. If you put your hands in there, they're going to have to blow it eventually. I really liked Tane Murray this game. His shooting percentage wasn't great, but he didn't stop and he didn't give up and he didn't drop his head or shoulders or anything like that. I didn't see any bad body language. He played the longest with 33.5 minutes and he played with grit. He just really didn't give up. I loved it. He had mostly good looks. He just couldn't finish those shots. He couldn't get them in. The defense wasn't great, but how on earth do you play with a roster that's 2 imports, neither of them being defensive specialists, and the rest of your team that started the season is either out or injured or bench players? So when I look at it, I go, yeah, defense was really bad. But I look at the lineup and I go,
yeah, defense was weaker than a day-old baby, as I put it during the game. But I agree. We're playing with a super depleted team. And so you just can't play with the intensity that you need on the defensive end. It's just not possible when you're down that many bodies. It's not just that they're also bench players and so forth. We've got shortened rotations because we're not using a couple of players as much, and they're not at the level that they need to be either. You can't be going flat out the whole game like other teams can.
yeah. And for me, this round was a really big one where I'm like, you have to see the reality in front of you. And in the reality of matching up the 2 rosters, I actually think we did okay. I was looking at it going, guys, you did good. It was your shooting percentage that left us at such a blowout in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so regarding the shooting, it was that, but also like missing defensive assignments. Like the gaps opened up like just too easily in the coverage, unfortunately. Like some of that is like the lack of fitness. Like earlier, like a while ago, DMAC was mentioning that, yeah, they're fit enough to do suicides, but not the fitness is the next thing, like the pick up full court, that sort of thing. The fitness is not up to that level. And so it's like DMAC has mentioned. And so that's part of it. And yeah, the shooting let us down. But also the Hawks bench, I think some people have mentioned that the Hawks bench is as good as their starting 5.
It was last season, but yeah, it's not bad this season.
You got like Tyler Harvey coming off the bench and
Greeter.
Yeah, he brings a hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him hit the floor in a recent game and he got up and then ran out to close out to someone who was shooting a 3. So he covered a few meters after hitting the floor.
Yeah. He's a serious athlete. The more I watch him, the more I'm like, God, I hate playing against you.
Genuine.
He's one of those players. Yeah, like Drimic and players like that where you're like, oh, they just close you right at the end of the game. They come off the bench and they used to just nail you. And then we had Drimic in our team. So I can't see Greeter leaving Illawarra. They'd be stupid to not keep
I miss
signing
Drimic.
him. Yeah, same. That hustle that they bring, that grit off the bench, that changes everything. Yeah, but I think defense is an area that we can definitely improve. And so I wrote this on Monday, and I do believe we did improve on Wednesday, but we'll keep going on with this one. The thing that I wanted to really see change is that dropping their heads when they miss shots, that's the bit that needs to change. You'll go and have a look at Courtney Williams at Minnesota Lynx in the WNBA. They actually call her Dory. She calls herself Dory. She says, yeah, I'm like Dory. They're like, how do you keep shooting when you miss shots? And she said, it in no way impacts my decision. I'm a shooter and I'm going to shoot. I completely believe in myself. So the shot didn't go in. So what? Next one will. And she sits with Dory on that one and she's just shoot. And I'm going to keep shooting and keep expecting it to go in. And when it doesn't, it's, oh, I'll just take another one when I'm open. And so there's something in there for the Bullets. Shoot, and they miss sometimes, and just keep shooting and believe it will go in, and eventually it will. Like the shooting percentage, I probably shouldn't say can't get any worse. You did that at the start of the season. So I learned from that one that honestly, you've got nothing to lose, really. You've just got nothing to lose. Keep shooting. And if you want a male version, I guess it's really Steph Curry. At no point does he think he should stop shooting at any point when his shots don't go in. He doesn't beat himself up for missing a shot. He just puts in the hard work off the floor and trusts them on the floor.
Yeah, and you can really see it with them at the moment as well, that there's a lot of hesitation with them, which is why last week where I said that, where we were talking about whether it was belief, experience, or talent, and that's why I said it was belief. I just think their shooting's not been great all season, and it's continued. Even I thought that it would turn itself around, but it's definitely not. I've seen enough from some of them to know they can shoot, and when you look at their career stats, that actually says the exact same thing. These guys are shooters. It's just started off poorly for them and it's continued on and it's gotten worse. And so that's why they've just lost that belief in themselves to put that ball through the hole.
For sure. I said execution when we had that discussion last week for different reasons, but like the reality, like it's a combination of all those things, the talent and execution, it's all those things. But lack of belief is related to the other factors, like health and fitness of the whole roster, which we have lacked this season. The hit to everyone's confidence, it comes from being on a losing streak. I think that's a big part of it. The starting five has just changed so many times. Like other teams get to choose when they change their starting five. Like Vickerman, he loses, he goes, okay, I'm going to put starters on the bench. We didn't get to have that choice. And so changing it would be fine if DMAC had more control over that, but he hasn't. So we all know that's
team together. Yeah.
The cards have not fallen that way. The cards have fallen the way they have.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all with what you're saying, because I actually think we're trying to say the same thing. So I think you're going, it's belief. And I'm like, it's talent. And then I'm like, I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But because I think they're too closely integrated. And the difference is, so their shooting percentages are great, but in what league?
Yeah.
And so if their shooting percentages are great in NBL 1, it's the pressure that comes with NBL. You're a great shooter. Great. How do you shoot when someone's in your face?
Yeah.
Like great shooters, we can say it's Bryce Cotton because he could shoot with double team, two people in his face, and he will still happily, confidently and relaxed way put that shot up and make it in a clinch. But if guys are having somebody get in their face and then they're not shooting well, or they're just not shooting well when they're open, that's the pressure of the next stage that's getting to them. So for me, it's a talent thing, but it's not their fault. The thing that I've been trying to say, but I couldn't find the words to say it, came from the amazing Joey Wright this week. So I listened to the No Flop Zone podcast with Body Nagy, and he said Brisbane have just checked out. And I was like, I beg your pardon, no, they haven't. What game have you been watching? And then Joey Wright said, no, they haven't checked out. I don't believe they've checked out. He said they're playing with an NBL 1 squad. I don't think they've checked out. Some of those guys are playing hard. Jacob Holt, they're playing hard. I can look at their intensity towards the ball. They're just not skilled enough. An opportunity is created, an open shot is taken and missed 10 times. The other team creates the same open shots and they make it 5 times. There's 15 points there. They're just not that good, and they're not supposed to be. They're young guys. And so when he said that, I'm like, oh my God, there it is. There's the words. They're young guys. So they would be great in NBL 1. They'd put up amazing stats and points. But NBL is different. And the only way you can become better at playing in the NBL and get your stats up is to play in it. Nobody comes in. Amazing. Body went on to say that the difference with the big money teams, they can afford to lose people as they have better people coming off the bench. Joey then said every single player on Adelaide's bench starts for Brisbane. All 5 of them were his words. And then they were joking about even the guy in the neck brace. He'd be sitting there in a neck brace and you'd still bring him on. And everyone, the NBL commentators all said that at the start of the season, that Brisbane doesn't have the depth to make it through the season. And they were all absolutely 100% right. And this goes back to owners just not spending the money on the bench players. They go, oh, we'll spend our money here on a few good players and then we'll just bring up some NBL 1 guys and hope for the best, or some young ones and bring them through. So again, I wrote these notes on Monday, just after the game. So the game against Adelaide had not been played when I wrote this next thought. Earlier in the season, we had Dukas showing us he needed help in talking to the refs, and to his credit, he adjusted. Like, coaches would have spoken to him, gone, mate, got to stop this. He adjusted, and that's a young player showing real growth. So good on him for doing that. When I see our import and a leader of this team in Terry Taylor having terrible body language, and in that game he started an argument with Pat Ewing Jr. in a timeout, I see things that really need to change. The game was going on and I was looking over there and Pat was trying to help out and he was like, nah, walked away. Came back later and sat next to Pat and they had a little fist bump. So they sorted it, but I was like, that is terrible body language from an important leader of the team. Not great. And then I thought about it and I thought, I can only imagine how much it sucks to be a Bullets player right now. It's, oh my God, of all the teams, of all the things and I could be doing in this world, I've landed here. You are depleted. You've had two different coaches, no leadership or ownership spending money where they need it, and you're expected to go out and compete with next to nothing on your side. So I know how disappointing it is to be a supporter right now. I don't know that personal experience of being a player, but I love you that you all are holding your heads up high and playing through it. And I want more of that. You're all professional basketball players and you deserve more than you've got right now. But also, you play basketball for a living. It's, oh, best job in the world? Yep. Sucks to be there? Yep. And best job in the world, just not the best team in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just got to be hard for them. Yeah, down so many bodies and everything else going on. It's got to be taking a toll mentally on all of them. I'm sure their psychologist at the moment is working overtime.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it was Nordo who's referred to playing basketball for a living. So, that's leadership as well.
Yeah.
Adam Ford made a similar comment about, like, to Joey about, like, he was talking about his own Taipans roster and their presser about, and I just think it's applicable to Bullets. He said, we're only one rolled ankle away from being an NBL 1 squad. Sound familiar?
Yeah, same. And it's just that lack of depth on the bench. Yeah. What I want the players to know, some of us still support you, like 100% support you no matter what. I've seen some of those comments and they are terrible. And I just want you to know we do support you. I don't expect you to win another game this season. And I'm totally okay with that. It's not a negative or demeaning comment. It's just the reality. When I put the depleted Bullets roster next to the opposition's, I can see no way for you to be able to win. I can see that you can put effort in and all the things. There's no comparison to these rosters. You cannot expect your team to win when you're putting that roster on the floor. Get some more bodies back, even Smack and Tyrell. And now I expect a challenge, a bit more of a challenge, but we just don't have the bodies in the right positions to get it done at the moment. Imagine getting JFL back as well, and it's a different story. So really, I just really wanted to come in and say, hold your heads high and play the game with pride and be like Dory when shooting. Permission to be Dory and just go, oh, next one. And expect the next one to go in and just repeat. And for the supporters, allow your expectations to meet the reality of the situation. For the love of God, you can't expect them to go out and win. Because the facts don't lie. Being disappointed when our depleted team gets blown out by a full roster team well above us on the ladder who still have a chance at the finals, your expectations really need to be looked at here. I see so many people project their life disappointments onto their sporting team. This is a game and you need to go talk to your mental health professionals about that because it's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so long as the players are coming out and giving as much like their absolute best, you can't really ask too much more of them at the moment. So long as they're showing that effort is where they need to be, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, as disappointed as these blowouts are, we just need to support the guys out on the floor. You see it in any sort of workplace when your work is down people and you're having to do more to make up for it. It has an effect on not just the team, but also your performances. You can be in there giving it all you got, but if you're trying to cover more work than what you should be, that makes an impact on your performance as well. And this is no different. It's just, yeah, it's the same sort of situation for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so before the game, we had our Q&A in the members bar. We did have Harge up there. We also had Stephen Bird, our head of high performance unit. I managed to actually have a one-on-one chat with Stephen before he got up for the Q&A. So I was talking to him about Tyrell and his concussion and the actual concussion protocols. So he was saying that there's 6 stages to the NBL concussion protocols. And if my notes are correct, so I was hastily trying to write things down, not while I was talking to Stephen, but actually afterwards. So my memory's I'm a bit of a dory myself at times. So I believe Tyrell has passed the first 4 stages, and so he's got the last 2 left. So the second last one is non-contested ball drills. I believe it's ball drills. And then the last stage is full contact training. So Stephen did emphasize that it's not just getting through the session for each of those stages. It's that Tyrell actually needs to be symptom free for the next 24 hours before he can move on to the next stage. So clearly there's been an issue there where he gets there, but he's still being showing symptoms. And for me, it's really 7 stages because once he gets through those things, he then still needs to be cleared by a doctor. So we also did have a bit of a chat around the whole injury situation, not just with the team. He did point out that when you look at pretty much all the injuries, except for maybe JFL's, they've all been contact injuries. Yeah. Even you look at Dakota's, he took a hit, which then clearly injured his shoulder and so forth. There's not much we can really do about those. And then we were talking about you're starting to see all these injuries on the back end of the season starting to come through for a lot of other teams. And one of the things that he thinks it's actually from is the players actually not really getting their rest in the preseason. A lot of them are going off, they're playing NBL 1 or they're going over to Puerto Rico and so forth.
NBL.
Yeah, or places like that, and they're just not getting the rest that they need. I think Joey and Body actually talked about it as well on the no flop zone. They pretty much said the exact same thing that these guys just aren't getting the rest that they used to get. And
Smack is possibly an example of that. He was playing for the Brisbane Capitals in NBL 1 North, and
But it needed that because he'd had the whole last season
yeah,
out.
it's a
So
tough
he
one,
actually
isn't
needed
it?
a hit out. I wouldn't have liked him coming into this season without playing NBL 1. So I think
But
he's an exception in that way. But
it's a catch
yeah.
22 though, isn't it?
yeah,
Has he played too much, or has he played enough to get conditioning?
yeah, yeah. A lot of the consensus out there is at the moment that is leading to a lot of these injuries is that, yeah, they're just not getting the rest. And when you look at, and it's hard because you look at the AFL and the NRL players, they all take their break. They don't go and play any other sport, but they also get paid a lot more.
Exactly.
Basketball players, they're not getting paid the same sort of thing here in Australia. They need to be earning a bit more. And so that's what they've got to do, especially for those guys going overseas and earning some big dollars.
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
are big dollars. They're really big
Yeah,
dollars that they get over there. Yeah.
absolutely. And then Stephen also spoke, and this was actually in the Q&A part. I didn't speak to him about this personally. He did raise the issue about GPS tracking and data analytics and it being used around team rotations during the game. So this was something we actually spoke about a few weeks ago and it had been discussed in other podcasts. I think the reverse pivot was one of them, and I've heard others talking about it in the media. So it's not just around the Bullets, but all teams. And we've been talking about how it's being used around our player rotations. And he made it very clear that the Bullets do not use the GPS tracking or the analytic data to determine player rotations during the game. He said that this is squarely in-game decisions by the coaching staff. So that kind of raises some questions then around their rotations and some of the choices that they make at critical times in games, but I won't go on with that. He then went on to say that the only time they have any input on a player's minutes is when they're on minutes restrictions after returning from injury. So I thought that was really interesting. It was great to hear from Professor Bird clarifying these things for us. I always like that if I say something that's incorrect or wrong, I like to know. So I thought it was great to hear from him on these things.
It's so awesome to know they're listening.
Yeah.
Yay. And thanks. Because you're listening, I've got more questions. So, what I really want to know, I would love to sit down and just nerd out with this team because I have so many questions on
Yeah.
how they do it and why they do it. And maybe the answers are not for a public forum. I just really would like to understand it. Who chooses what trainings happen when? Who chooses what time of the day the trainings are happening? Because it was Jason Kadee and Derek Rucker that were having this conversation where they brought it in that we referenced in the podcast a few weeks ago. And Jason was saying he feels like the coach's feel has left the game.
Yeah.
And that those things tracking were taking over. And Jason's only retired for one season. And so he's coming from within that world. And so that just raises more questions of, all right, let's challenge what it is that Jason's saying. Who does decide what trainings happen when? How does that go? Is the strength and conditioning sitting in on other coaches asking at the start of the season, how do we get longevity out of our players? Because you would think they would be doing that and they would say, look, the maximum that any player really should be playing is around 20 minutes. Why is Holty still sitting at around 20 to 22 minutes? Is that because they're just saving his body? What is that? Because you see Jack McVeigh and Bryce Cotton play 40 minutes each. So it just becomes really interesting to ask more of those kinds of questions. So they're questions I've got if anyone's out there listening and would
In
like
the
to come
case
to
of
them as far an
Holt,
answer.
is it also because of like his rehab, like a recovery
That's
after
the
that
question.
hip?
That is the question. Is it because of his previous injury and that really is the load that he can take? Because people like Nordo and Murray are up over 30 minutes now. And DMAC does not love that. He actually doesn't love playing his players for that long.
Yeah.
And this goes back to depth as well. Yeah. So Harge was up there as well. I didn't go up to the members bar at this game, but the person I sit next to, she was there and she said, who's the guy in that blue shirt there with that cap on? And I put it into the group and Cam, you answered it. Thank goodness. So he was up there. And has he been at any other games this season? I don't think I've seen him in any other games.
I'm not sure. I know he was here in the preseason, but I'm not sure about the regular season.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've seen him. I've certainly not seen him, and he's not been mentioned as being there, so possibly not.
Yeah, I think he would stand out. Great. What did he say in the members bar?
So I've got to apologize. He did get up and speak, but I admit I probably zoned out at that point because I was still hastily writing my notes down with after my chat with Stephen, because that's pretty much I was talking to Stephen, and then next thing you know, he's I've got to go up on stage. And so I pulled my phone out and I'm writing all my notes down on it. And so I didn't really hear much of what Harge actually had to say other than when he was asked about Montrezl Harrell for next season. So so unfortunately, I don't have much to report there. Sorry.
That's okay. And I'd see the question I have there is how do they scout? Are they scouting with the new coach? Are they putting a team together without the permission or with the knowledge of the new coach? What's actually going on here? Because you have to open conversations, obviously. And anyone who's not having a conversation with Montrezl Harrell, you'd be silly not to just open a conversation. Like, fair enough. But it doesn't mean you're going to sign him. But if, who knows? And I looked at his stats and he's a 20-point player. So I was like, oh my God, your stats tell me I want you. But what Jason Kadee said after that season, not really. I don't know.
I loved watching him on another team. It was never boring, but I'm not sure what it would be like on
We
our
need
team.
less drama, not more. We need steady ships. And who's he going to take minutes from? Tyrell or Holt? I just don't love that at all.
Yeah.
So I can't see an actual fit there anyway.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, while we were playing on Monday night, overtime was happening. So Derek Rucker said on overtime that talks have cooled off over Will Weaver. This made some people in our chat group panic, rightly. It was like he said, what? Because it made it sound like that the talks with Will Weaver had cooled off. Talks with Will Weaver had cooled off. And then, thank God, that's not how I heard it. because he said the talk has cooled off over Will Weaver, which is very different. So I know that we wanted the announcement to wait until the end of the season, really, to give DMAC a chance. What I heard was the Bullets have stopped talking about new coach coming in, therefore everything must have stalled. It's no, Derek. Maybe they're just waiting till the end of the season to actually make the announcement. That's how I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, in that same section of overtime, very shortly after what Ruck said, Hooley said, trying to remember the wording of what he said, but it was
He just said,
they've
I've got no intel on it. Just
yeah,
like,
I'm
nothing's
like
happening
so
over here.
yeah, so it was worse to the effect of they've holstered things, so things have been parked. And in terms of like intel or if anything gets leaked, things that like a two and a two have been put together to make four. Like Olgun is who you listen to, not Ruck, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Seriously. And
but
Hools has got a finger on that pulse as well. So if there's
yeah, to a
anything
lesser
there,
extent,
Hools
yeah.
spoke to it. I think Derek was just finding something to talk about.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, filling the space in that conversation.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Hurley said, they've holstered things. So it's been parked because it's just not the right time.
To announce.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean
Anything.
contract's not signed.
It's not the right time for anything.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And I agree. That's how I heard it all as well. Just stop talking about it for now. Let things cool off until the end of the season, and then we'll make an announcement once that's done. It's just allowing DMAC and the team to focus on getting through to the end of the season and not having to worry about anything else.
Yeah. But there are some supporters who are like, can you give us hope? And I'm like, nah, hang in there. Just let the team do it.
100%. Yeah. Hang in there. That absolutely. And I concur, like, regarding the timing on that front. It's just not the right time. Like, it's just there's games still to happen. DMAC's holding the clipboard, and free agency is a way off as well. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, like, Weaver has a contractual obligation where he's currently working, and it may even be like until the end of June or something. And so things have to be worked out there if that's actually something that is required to be worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was listening to a podcast with Jock Landale, and if you're not quiet about who you've signed with next before you finish one, life can get really messy really quickly. So he could have gone straight into the NBA, and Serbia made sure he didn't because it leaked that he was going to play somewhere else in the EuroLeague, and they moved his contractual payout amount from $100,000 to $1 million. So yeah, they did him over. So I'm like, just let all the contracts lie, let everyone be happy. Let's just not upset anyone in the world. And there is a right way to do things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice when nobody's talking about your team. Not much good has been said about our team. So when Brisbane Bullets comes up, it's like, oh God, what now? So it's a little bit nice for them not to be speaking about it. But don't worry, we solved it on Wednesday night. There are also a lot of whispers that have made their way to me around the front office stuff and how a lot of them will be leaving at the end of the season due to a lack of leadership. And the owner's just not willing to spend any money. So I was like, wow, that's coming from the inside. The Bullets organisation right now feels like a sinking ship, which is really sad. I feel really sad that this is what it's come to. It's got all the hallmarks of Swansea Football Club. I can't help but see the two and put them side by side and just go, oh no.
Also, DC United, and the common denominator there is the owners.
Yep, same. And that's Levy and Co as well, is it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. In my perfect world, because I don't ever like to stay with the sinking ship, I like to think, how can we right this ship? If I could wave a magic wand, what would I do? I would have Aaron Baines and Paddy Mill come in and buy out Levy and Share, and we'll begin to right this ship. That's on my wish list. Thank you very much, gods of basketball, and Aaron Baines and Paddy Mills.
Yeah. Not too sure if both of them have enough capital to keep the team going.
Bring your mates.
Yeah. So, yes.
Ben Hahn, bring more mates. Ben Hahn must know more rich people. Come on.
Yeah.
Bring your mates. Let's get them in. Let's get a whole bunch of Aussies. Got any money out there somewhere?
Yes. So it was interesting that the Aaron Baines and more, especially the Paddy Mills thing has come up because it came up in our group chat. And I actually had one of our listeners come up to me in the members bar, and I apologize because for not remembering your name. I am horrible with names. And he actually asked whether we could expect some new ownership next year. And I'm like, I don't know. It would be great. And then he mentioned that Paddy had been in Brisbane for the past week and was wishfully hoping that maybe there was something there with Paddy coming in as an owner. So it was really interesting. That person had come up and mentioned Paddy, and then all of a sudden there was some of that in the group chat as well.
Yeah, so I've also heard whispers of a possible ownership change with the majority owners. So
Yeah.
that is something that we can hold the vision of as well, because there might be a possibility for them to now get out now and actually make some money, actually get some money back. And after what we've seen with Jason Levian and co and what they did to Swansea Football Club, I would be all for this kind of change happening. Our wonderful friend Mort White did speak to Paddy Mills' dad at the Gold Coast game, and he said Paddy needs to come home and help out the Bullets. And he got a nod in reply. So Mort's taking that as a win. I'm hanging on to it as well. And we're going, tick, done.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paddy.
Yeah.
Well done, Mort.
I don't know if you can see, I've added in my background, I've got my signed Paddy Mills picture. That's me.
Nice one.
Bringing it into fruition.
Bringing
Love
it
it.
into fruition.
Love it. I've got a Paddy jersey from when they beat America. I was at that game down in Melbourne. So maybe I'll pop that one up there next to Banger next time and we'll bring it
Yeah,
in.
I've got a signed Paddy jersey, so I can bring that in as well.
Yeah, let's add it and just hope. Okay, we had a second game. So just as we were out of the media, as people were saying everything's cooled off and the Bullets are just getting to basketball, we had a second game, Wednesday night, Ignite Cup at the Gold Coast. Should we talk about the game or just the fight? What's everyone talking about?
Bit of
Nobody
both.
cares about the
¿Por qué
game,
no
do
los
they?
dos? Why not both?
Yeah. Bullets 74, Adelaide 107. The crowd was 2,441 people. I will consistently say I love the Ignite Cup. I think it's an amazing thing. I don't even mind Wednesday nights, but keep it on our home floor and include it in memberships for the love of God. Don't give us a break.
Mr. Mark Arena, who is he owner of the Perth Wildcats? Or is,
Yeah.
So
Majority
CEO.
owner, at least, yeah.
Yep. So
And
he put up,
CEO, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
So he put up on X regarding Perth Wildcats memberships for 2027, 16 home games, which will include the Ignite Cup. So it'll all be included in the one price. So there will be a price increase, but that's to cover the two Ignite Cup games. So it's not inflation, it's just to add those two games. So I thought that was something really interesting. And there's a little bit more in there, which I think we'll discuss in a later episode around that. But I thought that was interesting that they're going to be adding the Ignite Cup games to their regular membership pricing.
Yeah, and what this shows us as well is that the Gold Coast doesn't work for a Brisbane team, so let's not do that again. I
Yeah.
don't see why you can't just put it at the BEC and just let people have that routine. They know how to get there, everything's good, but there's no
Yeah.
world that I can ever, like top of the ladder, the bottom of the ladder, I can't make a Gold Coast game on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
It's not happening. And I've
And
got a bit of freedom too, but I'm not doing that.
I wasn't sure if the Perth games were, because are they still playing at
I think so.
RAC Arena? And
Yes, they are, because RAC Arena looked empty. I was like,
Yes.
holy smokes, look at all those
Yeah.
empty seats.
Yeah, so their numbers are even down for these Ignite Cup games, and it's purely because of the added cost. And
Absolutely.
I think I saw a Perth fan say that it cost them $45 per ticket as part of their season membership, and yet they're charging like 65 or something for the Ignite Cup game. So he's like, why would I be paying more for these games to go and sit in my seat?
To cover the 400 grand
Yeah.
prize money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The NBL just needs to start finding more money to
Yeah.
do a lot of things. So you're going to have to open your pockets, Larry, or bring in other owners, because I think it's the next step. You want a
More
better
sponsors.
game and you want less injuries. You're going to have to pay the guys more during the season so they don't have to go off and do the other things. Like
Yeah.
it's just this. And if you want an Ignite Cup, I think it's an excellent idea, but you can't put the prices up because nobody's going to show up. And yeah, All right. So this game, we played Adelaide. Ooh, 36ers. They beat us in the first quarter, 24-33. Second quarter, we beat them 22-19. So they started to shit themselves a little bit in that moment because there was, in order for them to get through, they needed to win a certain amount of quarters. Third quarter, we scored 9, they scored 16. That was just a pretty pathetic quarter all round.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, 19-39, because we had no
Yes.
players left.
Yeah.
One player on the bench.
Surprise. We won the second quarter. I thought that was pretty cool. I loved the way we defended Bryce. So on Monday, I wrote the notes and said, I think defensively we can be a lot better. Major shifts need to happen, but it's not that hard to do. It's really not that hard to do. These guys are smart enough to be able to do that. It was so great to see a wooden spoon team show that the best player in the league was not going to beat them all by himself. He was not going to come in and dominate them. And I loved that. And our coverages were mostly great.
Yeah, I thought we did a really great job on Cotton. And we have shown in patches in the last game we played as well. I think the first half of that game, we did an excellent job on Cotton as well. We went away from it in that game. Our second quarter was great. I was worried that we were going to go down the same path that we did in that's the last time we played them, where we really let Cotton just get going because we were in pretty much the same kind of position. We were looking really good. I do think Hunter going down late in that second quarter and then not starting the third really hurt us, and that meant that we got into the second half a bit slower. So yeah, that really hurt.
Yeah, and DMAC actually mentioned that in the press conference. He said one of my goals is that they call the first time out of the third quarter.
Yeah.
It's really important to me that we adjust. He said, and I had to call the first time out of the third quarter. So that was his disappointment for the game. He was like, just there. I just wish we had come out with a bit more. So that was probably shows you how important Hunter is to this lineup.
Yeah.
All right. So that little scuffle happened. Let's not call it a fight. Not even a punch was thrown. Well, Cheatham tried to throw one.
A melee, whatever.
Yeah,
Scuffle.
Little scuffle. Rakocevic needs to be booed every single time he enters our home court, and every time he touches the ball, we are booing him, please. Making a gun with his fingers and shooting at people in the crowd as he's walking off.
Yeah. 1000% agree. How he only got the fine is a bit ridiculous. I know he missed a game, but that was a suspended sentence that he already had for good behaviour. He clearly dropped the shoulder in on Maldonado as he falls on top of him. You can see it. I think I watched that video 10, 20 times before I could go to sleep. Yes, Hunter pulls him down. For me, it was more of he was trying to ease his fall as he was pushed. Yes, there was pushing from both of them going on, and he just tried to grab him to stop him from going down. And there was just absolutely no need to drop on him like that. You could tell that he couldn't handle the fact that a smaller player was out hustling him for position. You could see, and he clearly has that hothead streak in him. I don't see him back for Adelaide next season, so we might not get a chance to boo him again.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter where he is, he's getting booed.
Yeah, correct. I just want to mention with that footage, like Cam, you were mentioning that it looks like Krasovic was getting pulled down. I paused it like multiple times, and it was hard for me to see that pulling action. Like Hunter, I could see his arms were basically loose and like his legs were bent, like he was falling.
Yeah.
And so I'm not seeing what they're talking about on that one.
Yeah, there was like a basketball.com.au. They had a real slow motion, and I was like, oh my God, Hunter did nothing here. Like he was holding on, but then he let go to
Absolutely.
fall, and
Yeah.
Rakocevic grabbed him and pushed him. I don't know what footage the numpties in that NBL, whoever they were looking at, but they got it wrong. And Rakocevic, my neck is so sore in his press conference on his flight home, and then saying he did nothing wrong. And then the next day takes to social media and started apologising to Adelaide fans. It's, dude, what is it? Did you do nothing wrong?
Yeah.
Or do you have something to apologise for? Come on.
Yeah. absolutely. Don't apologize if you've done nothing wrong. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and Cheatham, who stayed on the floor, did not even get ejected. See
Uh,
you later, Tristan Devers. But Cheatham, you just stay right there, mate. You're fine.
yeah, absolutely. Most definitely should have been ejected. I saw it from the NBL footage that I saw, like what they had, it looked like he actually threw the punch, which to me, immediately, even if you raised your fist, that's you were in there, you should have been ejected. The fan footage shows that he at least cocked his arm and was about to throw it until Mitch definitely threw some choice words his way. And then he proceeds to push a bit more, and then Holt manhandles him and pulls him out. So actually stops him from doing more damage, because I do think he would have at least thrown that at least one punch had Holt not pulled him out. I wanted to see Holt do a Stephen Adams and pick him up and just carry him down to the Dirty Sixers bench.
I wanted to see him let him go. I'm like, just let him go. Let him go. Let him have at
No,
it.
I think that would have just made it all worse. I just thought the way he pulled him out, it was a sort of Stephen Adams type moment. I don't know if you've
Because
ever
it was
seen it.
bear hug from behind. No, but
Yeah,
I get what you mean. Yeah.
yeah. Stephen Adams once just picked the guy up and just carried him away from his own player like a little rag doll. I think Cotton possibly should have been ejected as well. This might be unpopular, but he pushed
Because
Divas
he's
out of the
so
way.
protected,
I know,
Bryce couldn't possibly do anything
I
wrong.
know. He pushed Divas out of the way to jump into the scuffle. Like
Yep.
Divas was there trying to get people out, and Cotton's come in and thrown him out of the way.
Yep.
Divas was just trying to get Taylor off Rakocevic.
Rakocevic.
Rakocevic. See, I really hate that name.
Leave the league. Cam can't handle your
Yeah,
name. Get out of
just go,
here. Give
just
us all a
go.
break.
It's as bad as my surname. No one says it properly. And he just gets shoved by Cotton out of the way. So yeah, Divas was definitely the most hard done by out there. Should not have been tossed. I don't know how the officials get that one wrong, especially with how long they actually took to make their decisions. Like, it just made no sense.
Yeah, Rakocevic saying he did nothing wrong shows he's not accountable for his actions. And I'm pretty sure the refs mistook Divas for Murray because Murray was on the bench and Divas wasn't. And Holt should be on Chetham's Christmas card list.
Yeah. But so the refs clearly said Devers was ejected because he left the bench
Yeah,
and Murray was ejected because he left the bench. So how
yeah,
can they confuse them if they're saying both names? Did
yeah,
they see double? Yeah, they got it wrong. And I'm
Go
so
to
annoyed.
Specsavers refs.
Absolutely nothing from the referees at all about their mistake. They've not said a single thing. Not a
yeah,
word. Come on, Scott Butler. Man up and put
yeah,
out a statement about the mistakes that were made by the referees by ejecting Divas and leaving Cheatham out there and also not finding Cotton. Explain. Please
yeah.
explain. I'm done
And
with this.
and not just that, it's also the fact that they didn't call a foul on either of them at the start of it when they were jostling for position. There was some pushing and shoving going on there that most other times would be called a foul. And so they let that go, and then bang, look what happened. So call stuff when it actually happens and when it needs to be called. Yeah, they need some explaining to do, but Butler seems to be protected. Nothing's being done regarding him. Even some of his video ref decisions are questionable. I'm not a fan. Just on Terry's part in all of this, I applaud him jumping in and trying to protect his teammate. I have absolutely no issue with him trying to go in and break that up. The headlock was probably a little bit excessive and not a good look in terms of from a fan point of view and little kids watching that going on. I didn't think he was going to let go at one stage, like towards the end. It looked like he had a good look on and he was trying to choke him out a little bit, which I say is not a good look. And then I'll also say, let him choke him out. Uh, I think he probably should have gotten 2 games, but being his first offence and knowing how the NBL grades these things, I'd figured he was going to get 1 game. Maybe a second with a suspended sentence would have been fair enough as well for 12 months. I'm okay with all the other fines handed out. Obviously, a couple of Adelaide players like Cotton should have at least been fined as well.
I actually think Rakocevic, was lucky that he didn't cop more. Like he led with his forearm as he was falling on top of Maldonado.
Yeah.
And I'm mostly relieved that it was mostly fines and the suspension for Taylor, which was probably about right. So let's be very clear that, we don't condone what Taylor did, but we understand his actions in wanting to support his teammate.
Yeah.
But he basically went too far as the league is concerned in terms of, his actions.
Yeah.
From the behaviour that I saw of Terry Headlock Taylor on Monday night, I love that one, thank you. I was surprised he wasn't throwing punches, honestly. I thought if anyone is going to let loose here, it is going to be him. He's going to let it all boil out and he's going to blow it all up. So I think if anyone was going to throw a punch, it would have been him. So as far as the headlock goes, I'm a completely non-violent person, but I was like, he's restraining himself. Well done. From what I've seen of him being bubbling and ready to boil over, I think he showed a lot of restraint, to be
Could have been a
completely
lot
honest,
worse.
with
Yeah.
that kind of personality that I've seen. I was like, if anyone's going to throw a punch, it's him. So the fact he didn't, I think he's done well. And there were some people who were really disappointed at the Bullets for all of their actions. And I'm like, hang on a minute. At no point can they win here. The first thing to think about is this happened right near our Bullets bench. So, of course, if anyone's going to move, it's going to be the Bullets bench. If it was down the other end of the court, I don't think we would have seen that many Bullets players getting in there.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing, because they would have been able to manage that a lot better from seeing them get onto the court. But they could just slide sneakily down the baseline there and just jump in, which is what most of them did. Some people were disappointed that they fought it all and got in there. And I said, if they didn't, everyone would have been calling them soft and saying they've checked out and that they don't care about their teammates anymore. So in no point can they win in this kind of a situation. And so are they going to sit around and let Rakocevic stay on top of Maldonado? In no world is it okay for them to ever allow that to happen. So I don't have a single problem with anything that happened other than the refs being blind and watching the wrong footage. I don't have a single problem with any of the Bullets players. I think they actually did totally great, okay. And I'm so glad they still want to have their teammates back. And that's what D-Mac said in the press conference as well. He said, that's all right. They wanted to be there. And I hope the club just really happily pays the fines.
Yeah. Considering the guys on the bench that went in, they only went in to really pull people out.
Yep,
You can
he threw a
see,
punch.
and I'm pretty certain Tane didn't actually enter the court until the scuffle finished, because he went around, he came in from behind to try and get that way.
Because he was moving the chairs out at the back
yes.
and trying to just clear the path for people.
Yeah. So I had absolutely no issue with them going up. I know you're not meant to walk on during that thing. They were just trying to get people out. And some of the Adelaide people and media, Adelaide media as well, I've seen some footage where they've absolutely blown everything out of proportion with those guys coming in, saying that they were throwing fists and all of that. What an absolute crock.
Yeah.
As we said,
only single person to raise a fist was Cheatham. Not
yeah.
a single other human raised a fist.
Yeah.
Give us a break.
So yeah, absolutely no issue with what they did. It's just unfortunate you got someone like Casey Prather who gets fined. I know he was on the court, but he didn't even get to the scuffle. It was all broken up by the time he actually got to the scuffle.
Technically, he wasn't even on the court because he was walking baseline as well, and he didn't actually enter the court itself. And his wife said, I'm giving him the dirty looks, going, what do you think you're going to do over there? You get back and sit down. Thank you very much. I've only just got the brace off. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I think he was probably also pretty hard done by, especially with the fines.
Yep.
Right there with you, 100% spot on, Trace, in terms of it being a no-win. It's a catch-22 for the Bullets. Like, they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. Like, they'll be criticised for not supporting their teammates. And, they'll be criticised, like, the way that they have for, like, basically breaching protocol, whatever it is. I'm actually glad that we're done with Wednesday night games. It just seems every Wednesday night game where the Bullets play in, the stuff goes sideways. I don't think we've had one where something didn't go sideways, like it was Casey's knee against New Zealand. I just feel a bit triggered for Wednesday night games, to be honest.
Yeah. The only negative I saw about all of this was poor DMAC. I was like, oh my God, what if they give them all a suspension and then he's got no one coming back? I was really worried for him. He truly believed he could get a win in some game towards the end of this season. He could actually see it, not in that game, Wednesday night, but down the track when they get some of the injured players back, and to see that go down the drain with the amount of players who ran out onto the court, I could see it in his body language just going, oh my God, what do we do now? However, he still showed up in that press conference and supported his players for their choices.
Yeah, yeah. Wells and DJ showed that they have absolutely no class with some of the things that they said in their press conference. You just need to go and watch DMAC and Nordo. They were the absolute epitome of professionals in theirs. Wells and DJ not so much.
Yeah, I definitely feel for DMAC and also Nordo. Wells saying something that nobody else saw. There's actually a still out there somewhere, like on socials or wherever, where the view he had, it was obstructed. You can see what he could and couldn't see. Up until recently, like I had a fairly high regard for Vasiljevic, like up until that press conference, and yeah, and like the game against the Phoenix, like he puts the shoulder into Sobe, and I'm thinking, yeah, it takes one to know one, does it? And DMAC, like just saying, watch the tape. That's can't think of a better way to respond really to the questions
Yeah.
Yeah,
than what he did.
absolutely. We're adding DJ and Wells to the list. A couple of people last year, so people say things and it really sinks in and stays in my mind. John Riley, and I can't remember the second person. The second person was a player, and they said, be good to the game and the game will be good to you. And I really don't think that Mike Wells and DJ Vasiljevic were good to the game on Wednesday night. The way they behaved, especially in that press conference afterwards, I was like, oh, you've just written some energetic law that you've now broken and you have not been good to the game. Your character isn't measured by what happens to you, it's measured by how you respond to what happens to you. Things happen in people's lives, but how do you respond to it? And that shows the character of people. And I saw a very high character in the men at the Bullets and the way they responded in the press conference and in the media. And Adelaide, I did not see that at all. I saw the opposite. It did not surprise me and made a lot of us smile when Southeast Melbourne beat Adelaide by 20 points in Adelaide yesterday. The only person, of course, on their team who spoke sense was Bryce Cotton. So they did the interviews, they got them on the plane home the next day, and DJ, Mike Wells, Rakocevic kept to their drama stories. And Bryce was the only one who just said, it's a game and it's an intense game. And we care a lot about this game, and emotions run high and sometimes they run over. And that was it. That's all he really said. He didn't go into the drama. He didn't blame anyone. He just went, yeah, it happens. All right, let's move on. And he is that epitome of he's good to the game and the game is good to him. And so may he keep being Bryce Cotton. Although in that same game, Nathan Sobey has now taken over as the highest amount of 3-pointers made in a season. So I can't help but think, Adelaide, oh, you did that to yourselves. I'm really surprised that Cheatham did not come out and thank Holt in any way. Low character person. Didn't just go, you know what?
Yeah.
They did good things. Instead, they decided to put the boot in and say, oh, they're the wooden spooners, so they're just feeling bad about themselves and wanting to take everyone else down. I beg your pardon?
It's just
How about
unprofessional.
in
Yeah.
every way? Be good to the game and the game will be good to you. It's like you are now wiped. You are getting booed every time you step into our stadium ever again.
DJ in particular has had a history of this though, because he was once bagging Adelaide out. Like
Yeah,
he was
and then
absolutely
went
giving
aside
it to
for
them, and then he
Yeah,
went and signed
absolutely.
for them.
Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely. So Bullets fans, next season, we're going to have a new coach. We're going to have lots of new players, but we're going to keep those receipts, yeah? Let's just keep those receipts. Rakocevic, if he returns, Mike Wells, and DJ Vasiljevic. We are booing them.
And Cheatham. He's returning.
And in the playoffs, we'll be booing whoever's playing against the 36ers.
Yeah.
We'll be
I
booing the 36ers and we'll be cheering for everyone who plays against them. Yeah.
I think I saw somewhere that someone mentioned we should all buy tickets to the Ignite Cup final and go down to the Gold Coast and boo the hell out of Adelaide the entire game.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm all for that one. Get your Bullets bus ready for that, huh? Back to the basketball game. There was a basketball game. Can you believe we took 103 shots and Adelaide took 82 shots? We shot 37% from the field and 18% from the three, and I think it probably would have been 2% from the three had Jack Purchase not hit those 3 threes down the stretch.
Yeah. So once again, getting good looks, just not being able to convert on the scoreboard.
Yeah, again, offensively, I saw some really good things. We just couldn't get our shots in. It's just that same story over and over, and we know why. We know why. Adelaide were over 68% from the field and 44.4% from the three, so they were just more efficient in every way. We only allowed Adelaide 5 offensive rebounds. And we, our undersized team, had 14 offensive rebounds. Thank you very much. We've got a lot to be proud of in this game. For the talent we have, we're punching well above our weight. If we look at this for the team that we've actually got, which is the NBL one side at the moment, well done to them. I think it's really cool. Yeah, punching well above our weight. I put pun intended. And Dean Max spoke about this in the press conference, and he said, we want to make guys beat us. We're not going out there just to lay down. He's clearly not letting them check out. So I think that's amazing. And DMAC, of course, spoke highly about Holty. And he said that he knew they'd give them something. He said, I knew he was a great player, but I didn't expect it to be as much as it has been. He was really happy, and he noted that with Tyrell out, Holt is the one who has been able to take his moment and really make something of it.
Yeah. Action Man is quickly becoming my favorite player to watch for us. His energy is the best, and you can just see that he really cares and is giving it his absolute all. So I don't usually buy player jerseys, but I'm actually going to grab his this season. That's how much I am liking what he is giving us at the moment.
Yep, absolutely. Nordo said in that presser all through this season, the team has loved showing up for each other. And he's really proud of how they get around each other. He just wishes they could get a couple of wins. So
As
do
we all
Nordo.
do.
So do we. And not for us. I don't want wins for me. I want wins for them. And I especially want wins for DMAC. Smack, Dukas and Tyrell were all expected to play in this coming week, which makes it really interesting because now we're going to talk about our games coming up this week. So we've got Tasmania in Tassie on Friday night and then a home game on Sunday against Cairns. Because I didn't know who will be suiting up, so there's no guarantee that those guys are going to be back because they've still got to get through all the check stations and all the things. If they come back, I think we can sneak a win in one of these games. I don't know which one. Tassie's depleted, but they're also hitting their strides, and this game matters a lot to them. I think we could possibly sneak one against Cairns, though. I feel like we'll get one, but I don't know. I don't have any predictions.
Yeah, it's hard to predict anything with the fitness of the roster. It's just like hard to gauge where the team is at in terms of are there any bodies coming back. Tassie have got Majuk Deng back. That gives them some more size and offensive firepower. And like you said, Trace, Dukas, Smack, Tyrell, they're just maybes. And every game, like we're hoping that Tyrell passes the protocols for the concussion, but it's just a wait and see on that one.
Yeah.
And
So
there's no guarantees.
I'm in the same boat. If we knew we had those guys back, it'd be great. I'm definitely think we might sneak one of these wins. I think we've actually got a better chance against Tassie just because they struggle to put points on the board as much as we do.
And they play that slower kind of game too,
They
don't
do.
they?
Yeah,
Slow it down a bit.
They play a lot slower. Yes, their defense is good, but their offense is really struggling as much as ours is.
And they've got Magna out, but they've still got Bannon who loves to beat us.
This is true. So yeah, I think both games will be close. like I said last week, I need to be right at least once with one of these. So yeah, so I think we'll get Tassie, and the Cairns one is a 50-50 flip. McVeigh's obviously the linchpin there and what he's going to do for Cairns. But yeah, I think both games will be closer than all of our other games so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
How would we defend McVeigh?
That
He's a
fadeaway is almost unguardable, isn't it? The
he's a
step back
four,
or the
isn't he?
fadeaway.
Take him out at the knees.
Terry Taylor will be out for that game. Oh no, he'll be back for that
Yeah,
game.
yeah, Terry's back. Headlock. No. Yeah, I just think you let McVeigh do his thing and then you just shut everyone else down.
And hope he gets 20
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
50.
Don't just let him do whatever he wants. Try to stop him, but I'd
Is there any value in doubling him? Like you have someone in front of him, if he's going for that fadeaway and someone on the side of his shooting hand, is there any value in that?
As long as you're covering everything
yeah,
else.
Yeah,
yeah,
as long as someone can switch, obviously,
Yeah.
of course.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what we haven't done well, but we did it well against Adelaide. So that's why I'm a little bit interested in this, because I'm like, we showed we can defensively take out a main player, and he is the main player. Everyone else may or may not beat us, but without McVeigh, they really don't have much to go on.
Yeah.
And it depends if Andrew Andrews is back as well. So I don't know. I reckon.
Yeah, Andrews is a interesting one because is he on a shooting binge or does he suddenly start looking for teammates where he gets 10 assists? But I think out of the two games, yeah, we're a chance of one out of two, but which one is the most that
Yeah.
we have a better chance? It's hard to say.
And we might even say it would have to be Tassie because they're backing up 48 hours later with very few bodies. So it's tricky because guys are going to play 30 something minutes on Friday night and then they're going to have to fly home and back up on Sunday. So maybe that gives us less chance against Cairns. So there's all these things that go into it. But yeah, I really hope we get one this week. I won't be disappointed if we don't, but I hope we do. Yeah. All right. Yeah, nah. Scott, you got a couple?
Yeah, just a couple. So the end of the regular season is only a few games away and it can't come soon enough for the Bullets.
Yes.
Nah.
Oh,
I want more games.
Really?
Everyone wants it to be over.
Punishment.
I want to play Adelaide at home.
Wow.
I was so disappointed when I did not see Adelaide on our. I was like, God damn it, we've played them enough, haven't we? I love games. Like, people said that they were so disappointed going to the game on Monday night. And I'm like, I had a great night. I
So
had
you
so
like
much fun.
the 33 game schedule?
Yeah. I'm all for WNBA, man. I go back to that. They're playing every night. They also fly private. That's something else that really needs to change. Let's talk about that when it comes to injuries. These guys are playing games and then they're waiting around at airports and then they're going on commercial flights. I think that's actually the first thing that needs to change before upping the paychecks. I actually think one of the first thing that needs to change is they need to start flying private. And I don't know, probably the big money teams are going to have to start that one, but to not get on a private jet and just have the space and do all the things you need to do and have everyone you need on that flight with you. I think that's a massive thing that's towards injuries in our league.
It's not cheap. Like even the football teams only do it once in a while. Like they do it on occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually something else that I spoke to Stephen Bird about when we were talking about injuries and the teams that are currently now suffering from a lot more is looking at, and I know it was something we looked at earlier on in the season, is the teams who have the most amount of 48-hour turnarounds.
Yeah.
And let's go back and actually review that and look at the teams that are now suffering from all of these injuries. And are they the teams at the top of that list where they're playing the most 48-hour turnarounds?
It's
definitely travel time.
Yeah.
Because we did both of those things. Remember, somebody had actually looked at travel kilometers?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, early on, within our first few weeks, the Ks and stuff that we had traveled was ridiculous. So that's definitely a factor for injuries as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Free agency will be good for the Bullets for NBL 27.
Yeah, it's always going to be
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Are you feeling
always gonna be
positive
good.
about it?
The only way is up.
We've got a few players off contract and there's a couple with options, and so there's some opportunity, but it's, yeah.
I think most of them should go. I think that we need a very big clean sweep, starting with ownership. If ownership aren't willing to spend the money, then they need to step aside for people who are willing to come in and have the capital and can spend the money.
Yeah.
I hold the vision of a future of, I look at Sydney and they've got ex-players in their ownership, and it's only a positive thing. So I'm calling on some ex-players, we've got so many of them, to come back and put some money and some intel in. So the owners have to change things. They cannot go on like this and expect us not to start yelling, sell the team at games.
Yeah.
So the clean out that you guys, like Tracy, you mentioned, like there may be buyouts required if the clean out is more than just players off contract.
Yeah, I would go buy out from ownership, clean out front office, get some basketball knowledge and heads in there, and let's get some serious basketball experts in the room, living in Australia, doing the job, and then
Yeah, so you're talking about
a great
the
head coach.
management office, not just the playing roster, though. I was thinking of
Yeah,
who's contracted.
ownership, front office, coach, players. So I'm not even worried about that at the moment. I'm like, we've got so many other things that we have to build a foundation around so that when we get the right players, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that we have to now, if the Bullets are serious, if the Bullets owners are serious, they have to build a bench that can step up as a starting five for other teams. Like, you just have to do it. It's bench players should not be secondary
Yep, totally.
Yeah.
to the
Like,
players on the court. It shouldn't be a
Sydney
level
has
down.
someone
It's just
like-
different.
You look at the Kings have someone like Kawhi Noi, who's what, 6 man. He would start on a lot of
Most.
other teams,
Yeah.
if not most.
He would be a marquee on our team. You'd literally build a team around him at Brisbane. That's the difference. That's what I mean. That's why I see Sydney winning it, if they can get some bodies back there and stay healthy. And I want them to win it now. I'm like, I'm going for Southeast Melbourne or Perth and Sydney final, and I think Sydney will do it. But Adelaide are not getting their grubby little paws on it anymore.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well done. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Bullets Nation podcast. Stay with us, Bullets fans. We know it's hard. We know it's a long, hard slog at the moment, but I'm here for it. We're here for it. Just know that we'll always be here. Take care, and we will see you again next week.
Bye, everyone.